Welcome to episode 661 of Salsidoparanormal. I'm your host, James Salsido, and tonight I'm continuing my review of Orpheus, Mythos of the World by Padraic. As always, you can find all episodes of the show, along with links to social media and other ways to contact me at the podcast page, and that is salsidoparanormal.podbean.com. That's SALSIDO paranormal.podbean.com. Always happy to hear from you all, whether you have comments or questions or topic suggestions or accounts of paranormal experiences, whether they're your own or from others that you trust. Happy to either read those or have you join me on the show to talk about them. Thank you all for listening, whether you are here for the live recording streams on Discord or if you listen to the podcast or YouTube feeds, or on the Troubled Minds Radio Network, KUAP Digital Broadcasting. There you can hear replays of 2 episodes of my show every night at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, right before Troubled Minds Radio comes on. And as always, I want to thank Michael Strange, host of Troubled Minds Radio, for having me on the network and putting my shows up there. If you'd like to support my show, there are different ways to do that. You can always share the show with others and rate and review it on your favorite podcast platform. You can find books I've written over on Amazon, paranormal fiction and nonfiction, including my most recent release, Salsido Paranormal Experiences, which is directly tied to the podcast. It has some stories that I've shared in the show before as part of the material there. So you can also sign up to the Patreon page and get one extra true paranormal stories from the web episode every week, whenever possible. Or you can just make one-time donations through PayPal. Support is never expected, but always appreciated, as there are expenses in making these shows, from equipment to research materials to travel expenses in some cases. So I think that takes care of all of that, and thank you all for being here. We're getting close to the end of this book review of this book of mythology, so it's pretty amazing that we've gone through so much of it already. And let me get to the material here, and we'll get going. Of course, these are summaries that I had made by AI of a public domain book, and I read the summaries, and then we talk about anything that seems to relate to the paranormal within those stories, as well as I can think of it, anything or anyone in the chat thinks of anything. So that's how we do these. And of course, as I always say, I'm going to mispronounce everything. I'm 99% sure of that. So I apologize for that. Next time I do one of these reviews of a mythology-related book, I will make sure to get the phonetic breakdown of how to pronounce all the names included in the summary. I just did not realize that was a possibility when I did this. So always learning here on this show for sure. Let me see here. So let me get to the material. We are on the gods of the Azteca. And so this starts with creation of the earth gods. Initially, there were Tanak, which is Sky Father, and Q, I'm not sure, Earth Mother. The Earth Mother gave birth to a flint knife, which, when thrown down, became the 1600 Earth Gods. So that's amazing. So usually you think of knives as tools for some kind of either, of course, battle or utility for making things. Well, in this case, the knife itself became other beings. These Earth Gods lived like humans, laboring and searching for food. There was a request for servants. The Earth Gods wanted humans to serve them, sending Tlatli, the hawk, to ask Earth Mother for instructions. Earth Mother instructed them to send someone to Mictlampa, the place of no light, to retrieve a bone from a previous race. So isn't that amazing? You have these, we hear all the time in sort of different topics about the idea of there being different, and we know that there have been different sort of versions of humans and or humanoid beings over time. And here you have that in this mythology, which is obviously more ancient than any kind of modern scientific investigations into that possibility. Mission of Zolotai? Oh, wait, it's L. Xolotl. Zolotal was chosen and sent to Mictlampa to ask Mictlantecuttle, the lord of the area, for a bone. They agreed, but intended to trap Zolotal. He gave a bone of, excuse me, a giant from a previous race. So again, how many times have we heard through various topics and ideas of what has happened in the past of giants? That's a common theme as well. So Zolotal stole the bone and escaped, but it broke into fragments near the upper world. He gathered the fragments and returned them to the earth gods. The earth gods put the bone fragments in a vessel and added their blood. After stirring, so the blood of the gods, after stirring for 4 days, a human boy and girl emerged. The children were nourished and grew up to become the ancestors of current humans. Let's see here. The next section is called Differences in Human Stature. Due to the bone being in fragments, humans are of varying sizes, unlike the giants of the previous race. Creation of sun and moon is the next section here. The gods decided to create luminaries by sacrificing 2 gods who transformed into the sun and moon. 2 gods volunteered, donned crowns and robes, and cast themselves into fires. After 4 days, the sun and moon appeared, with the moon's brightness dimmed by a rabbit thrown at it. I'm reading that as it says. That's quite the thing there. Let me see here. Creation of stars and movement of the sun and the moon is the next section. The sun and moon called for the death of the other gods to create stars. So here you have the cycle of sacrifice and rebirth, or recreation, or a new creation through these different beings here. A great wind destroyed the gods, and their remains became stars. Wow. So if you think about that, you hear all the time that we are, I think there's even a lyric from a song, we are stardust. I think it's a Crosby, Stills, and Nash song. Anyway, this idea that everything that is made here, that is from this planet, on this planet, somehow came from space and other objects and stars and just everything out there. So that's an amazing idea. The wind made the sun move across the sky, while the moon remained mostly still, appearing at different times from the sun. Let's see here. So that's the end of that section there. Quetzalcoatl's teachings, and we're going back to this figure here. Quetzalcoatl shared these stories and teachings with the people of Talan. So all that above was shared with people over time. And that's amazing because you have sort of mythology within the mythology there. and of itself. So yeah, that's pretty amazing there. Stories within stories, which that is a modern thing as well. And I guess that's probably where some of these kinds of mythological stories and descriptions of how things are made are where that idea came from. Is around the world there were stories and accounts within accounts of experiences. So moving on to the next section here, the Azteca, which I believe it means the people there. Let's see here. There is something called the Tying of the Years Festival. This occurs every 52 years, involving the extinguishing of fires and lighting a new fire on the chest of a sacrificed man. During Montezuma the Conqueror's reign, a portent appeared, a pair of great sandals in the temple of who is a Pactili? The interpretation and mission here is the next section. Montezuma interpreted the sandals as a sign that this being would never abandon the Azteca. He instructed priests to take the sandals to Coatlicue to in Aztlan, Aztlan, as a sign that who is the Laputale would not return. Sorry, and journey to Aztlan, which is the next section here. Priests searched ancient books to find the way to the area, described as a mountain surrounded by water with floating gardens, abundant fish, birds, and caverns filled with precious stones. The Azteca originally left at Aztlan, guided by this deity being, enduring hardships before settling and building Tenochtitlan. Yeah. Sorry about that. Returned to Aztlan. The priests, guided by 4 magicians, found this place, filled with enchanting flora and fauna, so plants and animals. The people of Aztlan spoke a familiar language and questioned the priests' identities and purpose. Coatlicue lamented that this being would not return, based on the message from the sandals. She put on mourning clothes, as in mourning, and the priests left Aztlan and returned to where they came from there, Tenochtitlan. So the priests felt they hadn't stayed long in Aztlan, but upon returning, found another tying of the years taking place. So here you have a weird or strange, unusual passing of time, which is something that still happens for people to this day, which is amazing. Montezuma II ruled, as in, so the original one apparently had passed. So he was the second. He ruled, and many ominous portents appeared, signaling possible doom. And here they go over those ominous portents. A strange bird with a shining stone in its head showed Montezuma visions of future years with future wars with new deadly weapons. So here you have beings that are giving people messages and visions of things to possibly come. Montezuma's deceased sister was seen alive describing encounters with fair-faced, as in, I believe, lighter skin, bearded men with powerful weapons. A pillar of fire in the east seemed to signal the imminent destruction of the Aztec Empire. And that's where that section ends. So you have basically people coming back from the dead, telling about future possible events there, along with other beings giving rulers messages through visions, which, again, prophecy has existed all throughout time. So that's the end of that section, and only have one more to go here. And then we'll be done with this book, this mythology book. And let me see here. Yeah, we might get through it all this episode. So this is about the Zuni people. And the first section here is called Payatuma and the Maidens of the Corn. First section is Introduction of the Maidens. The Maidens of the Corn, fostered by Payatuma, were brought to the people by him. Payatuma sang a song emphasizing their sacredness and warning against changing their divine purpose. Next section is Rituals and Dance. A bower of cedar wood was built for the maidens annually, and a ceremonial fire was lit. The corn maidens danced all night, using their magic wands and plumes to help the corn grow. Each maiden's embrace of a corn plant caused the fire to change colors, symbolizing their influence on growth. New music and dance is the next section here. Now think about this. We know that sound now, in these days, we know that sound can have different effects on the environment and people, and I imagine plants and everything. So you have this concept going that far back. And I'm sure that's not the only part of the world where that's the case. Young men heard new music from Thunder Mountain, claiming it's superior to the existing dance. Messengers sent to investigate found Payatuma in the cavern of the rainbow with other beautiful maidens who represented the water of life. The flute players from the cavern were invited to the village to join the corn maidens' dance. Next section here is Disruption and Loss. During the dance, the flute players and village youths behaved inappropriately towards the corn maidens. The maidens, offended and pursued, left their bower and disappeared. The people, in distress, sought help from the eagle, falcon, and raven to find the maidens, but all failed. Next section here is Payatuma's intervention. Payatuma, initially appearing disheveled and clownish, was asked to help. After purification, Payatuma resumed his divine demeanor and set out with 4 pure youths to find the maidens in Summerland. That's amazing. I wonder what that's about. He successfully brought the corn maidens back, and they resumed their ritual dance. And next section here is Final Departure. The maidens infuse the corn with the substance of their flesh and vanished forever. So basically they became one with the corn, I'm guessing here is an idea. Or at least they gave themselves to it in a way, I'm not sure. But anyway, Payatuma explained the necessity of their departure due to man's desires to change their divine role. The people were instructed to revere the corn seed, as sacred and continue rituals to ensure its growth. And then the last section here is legacy. The story underscores the sacredness of the corn and the rituals to sustain its growth. Paiyatuma and other gods are credited with ensuring the corn's vitality through their divine influences. And that is the end of that book. So we have made it. It's been amazing to listen to all these, to read all these, and check all these myths out, and see how they have so many connections to modern experiences people have and thoughts people have, and all that. It's just been. I hope everyone has enjoyed the series, because I definitely have, of these reviews, this review of this book. And like I said, we will do other. I will find other books on mythology in the future and see what we can do with those. Probably not right away. I'll wait for a while. I do want to get back to reviewing the rest of the Stephen King books that I've read, and so that'll probably be the focus of the book review show from each week for a while, to get through those, and then we'll go from there. I want to. I don't know if I'll do. I want to do some kind of review of the works of John Keel as well as Jacques Vallée, just because of how much their ideas seem to have influenced the ideas and thoughts and research of so many other people over time since then. So I want to do that at some point as well with these book review shows. And I'm thinking of adding one episode per week of my Twilight Zone review series as well to the regular schedule. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to do that for sure. Just so that we can have sort of a book review, a TV and movie review, and then a Haunted Places show, and then 2 of the true paranormal stories from the web, just to make things a little bit easier on myself as far as research goes. It's a lot to do, as many of the true paranormal stories from the web shows as I do every week as of now, and I like it, but it's also it can be a lot of work. And I do think it's important to review other media that touches on the things that people experience as well. So I don't think it will hurt to have a couple different kinds of review shows every week, along with the true paranormal stories from the web. So I might start that. I don't know. I'll start that when I figure out how to work it in to the schedule, and we'll see. I haven't decided on that yet. You all can let me know what you think. But yeah, and mythology is just amazing with all the connections. I've tried to comment on whatever I can think of as far as paranormal aspects that are within the mythology that we've covered so far, but I'm sure I've missed a lot of things just because there's so much there. So anyway, thank you all for listening, and I will talk to you all next time on Salsidoparanormal. Take care.